James, it's so great to have you. Thanks for being here.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
You write that ChatGPT has unraveled the entire academic project. Tell us what you mean by that.
ChatGPT has made cheating so easy. It's so easy to take an assignment, put it into ChatGPT or another AI LLM, and then submit that assignment and pass it off as your own. Or short of that, use an LLM to come up with ideas or outline an essay. And so what that has done, if you really zoom out, it's made professors and administrators, force them to ask the question, why are we assigning this work? If it's so easily hackable, what are we asking these students to get out of it? Do we assign essays just simply to teach them to write? Um, uh, what is the value of that? And when you ask that question, you very quickly kind of can ask yourself, why are we here? Why are students here, and why am I here in front of this classroom teaching them?
Mhm. And so from your reporting, give us a sense of the scale of this. Is this state schools? Is this the Ivies? Is it community college? Is it all of it? Everyone's grappling with this?
Oh, everyone's grappling with it. It's not just higher education, it's also, high school, even some, middle school teachers talk to me about it, but we really focused on college.
And so how are college students using AI today?
In the classroom, they're using it, to fully complete assignments in some cases, fully write essays for them. But there are also, of course, very productive use cases. Having AI analyze data in a lab, or just bounce ideas off of it.
But your piece focuses on, and what the real concern is students who are using AI to, for example, write an entire essay in an hour, right? I mean,
Right.
it's the sort of cheating element of this that is so concerning.
Right. It is the greatest cheating tool that college campuses have ever had to face because it's so easy, it's accessible to everyone, and it's just very good at doing a lot of the things we ask college students to do. So students will use it to produce essays, outline essays, come up with the dreaded topic sentence or thesis of essays, and that's where it gets kind of tricky because many students have convinced themselves that using it for say coming up with a topic sentence is not necessarily cheating because they can then build an essay off of that.
Give us a sense of what the students said to you, because I
Mhm.
thought from your piece they were remarkably candid about their use of AI. How did they view it?
There are certainly students who understand it as a cheating tool and won't use it or use it and knowing that they're cheating. But many students will rationalize it by saying, "This is a tool that I will have for the rest of my life, so I might as well be using it now, and it will serve me later on. In fact, if my fluency in AI is being built right now."
Give us an example of a student that you interviewed.
One student, Wendy, she had an essay that was due, and she woke up the morning it was due, sat in front of her computer, and uh, basically engineered this essay using ChatGPT, where she said, "Can you please create an essay that answers this very specific question," which she copy and pasted from her professor into ChatGPT. Can you please create a thesis for each paragraph, and then some bullet points? So she was physically writing the essay herself, word for word. The thinking, she was sort of outsourcing. She surprised me because she really understood that there was something lost in doing this. She said, I miss writing the way I did in high school, but just because all the students around her and this amazing tool is available now, she felt as if, it was necessary for her to use it. One student told me, I asked him whether he really understood the value of a handwritten physical note. And he said, "Yes, of course I do." And that's why I do send them occasionally. And then he added after I draft the letter using AI, and so there was this kind of fundamental difference where he understood the value of the physical note, but I, of course, was talking about sitting down and writing a note, not using AI.
Professors and administrators, I mean, they're calling this a crisis, right? Tell us how they're reacting to all this.
Many professors I spoke to are really overwhelmed. The introduction of this tool so quickly has turned them into kind of, um, cops in a sense, where
Mhm.
not only do they have to work to teach the material and come up with these assignments and grade them, now they have to be on the lookout for essays that are written by AI. They are overwhelmed because so many of them seem to be. And there's not much to do because, it's very hard, one, to prove. Beyond a shadow of a doubt that something is written by AI. So, leveling that accusation is quite serious. And so you have these professors just wondering, what am I doing here? Why are we even pretending like these students are fulfilling their obligations as students?
Right. And you write that professors may think they're good at detecting AI work, but actually studies have shown they are not. Um, One
Sure.
study used fake student profiles to slip AI-generated work into the system, and professors failed to flag it 97% of the time.
Exactly, and AI is only getting better. At so far, it's only gotten better at sounding more human.
In the piece, you talk about how you actually fed a student essay that you knew was AI generated. You fed it into an AI detector. It came back with a score of 11.74, which was low, knowing that this was an AI generated piece. And then you put text from the book of Genesis into the same AI detector program. And that came back with a score of 98%, which means the computer thought it was AI generated. So, I mean, there are real accuracy issues in this.
These detectors are not all that reliable, and I keep on coming back to the idea that, okay, if I sit down and write this essay based on ideas generated by AI, what did I get out of that essay? And is that cheating? Part of an essay is reading the text and sitting and thinking about what you've read, and then coming up with ideas that feel original to you because they're coming out of your own brain.
Yeah.
And one way that students are using AI, you don't have to actually even read the text because it can summarize text for you. So I may be writing my own original essay, but that doesn't mean I did the actual reading. And there are all these sorts of tricks that students can use to hide the hand of AI in their essays. So
Yeah.
there's one where, if a student has AI produce an essay in English, they can put it into a translation device and then to another language and then go back to English, and that will somehow protect it from being flagged as AI generated. There are, now customizable AIs that will, really work hard to put it in your voice if you upload other essays. So we're not going to police our way out of this problem. That being said, I think there is sort of an acceptance amongst students, a resignation that all students are doing this. So a student who
Oh,
may
there
not have
is
been
an
cheating.
acceptance, a resignation to it.
Many students, certainly. After the story came out, I was surprised by how many students, emailed, me and got in touch to say, "Thank you for writing about this because I am so frustrated with my classmates, at school." There is pressure, right? I understand that as a college student, there was, pressure to produce, and, you're going to be graded against your peers, so you want to have, that edge.
Speaking of grades, you talked in the piece about how it kinda skews the grading system,
Mhm.
because if a student who's getting a good grade on an AI generated paper, I mean, they're matched up against someone who may have not used AI, but maybe it wasn't as good. So, I mean, it throws the whole thing into chaos.
Exactly. One teaching assistant I spoke to was part of the frustration, and in fact, why he actually decided to leave teaching altogether, because he would be looking at two essays, and one was pretty good. It was a decent essay, but he could tell that it was AI generated. Another one I think he described as, basically, difficult to read. And it was so obvious that that the student hadn't used AI, and he just had no idea how to treat those papers side by side.
Yeah, it's a real conflict for these
Mhm.
professors. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
And professors, you write about trying to AI proof their assignments, even. Tell us how they're doing that in some cases.
AI proofing an assignment is actually one, fundamentally asking, what the value, like we talked about, of this assignment is, and why we're assigning it. Some professors have switched to oral exams, with some success. Of course, they understand that something is lost in that the student who does well writing a paper maybe isn't the student who does well sitting in front of them. And for an oral exam, it takes quite a bit of a professor's time, especially for larger classes. But it's a chance to connect and make sure students understand the material.
So, oral exams, some are going back to the blue book essay writing,
Mhm,
so
mhm.
the
We know blue
old-fashioned
book
way,
sales
what
are
we
are
used to
are
do.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Blue book sales are apparently on the rise again. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad for those blue book makers.
And you write about professors sticking strange phrases in small text in between paragraphs of an essay prompt. Theoretically, that would cause ChatGPT to insert a non sequitur into an essay. You write about one professor putting the word broccoli into an assignment, or mention Finland, or mention Dua Lipa in the
Right.
assignment, right? Just
Mm,
to kind of
yeah.
throw off the calculus.
Right, that was kind of one of my favorite and it's something that, a number of professors are doing, and, it's really, designed to catch kind of the laziest of lazy students because that would should a student turn in an assignment that then mentions broccoli or Dua Lipa, it basically means that not only did this student not write their essay, but, also they didn't read the essay that they turned in. So, um that might be viable, way to really catch the worst offenders, but it doesn't necessarily cover the core issue.
So I'm just really curious about this idea that these students, many of them that you spoke with, did not consider this cheating. I mean, the honesty and the shameless self-awareness of that is really interesting to me and kind of at the heart of this story.
We're told, and people are telling students and everybody that this is a tool, that AI is a tool. That I heard a lot of comparisons to calculators, for example,
Mm.
and it's a tool that you're going to be using for the rest of your life. It's something that you need to understand as you enter the workforce because AI is going to change how we work. So I think the justification for that I heard a lot from students was, why shouldn't we be using this? That is kind of their attitude. And so then it becomes the role of mentors and teachers and parents to explain there is a value. The reason you're paying for this education is not just to prepare you for the workforce. It's also to broaden your horizons and beef up the way you think and the way you think critically about the world around you.
Talk about the intellectual decay as you speak about in the piece. Some early research that you quote shows memory problems, problem solving issues, creativity suffers when students offload these cognitive chores to chat box. Never mind critical thinking skills.
The research that is out there on how AI shapes our brains or changes the way we think, we don't have um, really a large corpus of research to depend on right now. That being said, it's pretty simple to understand that the less thinking you do, the less your brain works.
Right.
That just sort of seems like a logical leap. So this idea of cognitive offloading is something that is really freaking a lot of people out. The
Mhm.
idea that we have a generation of students, literacy is already kind of plummeting,
Yeah.
and so what we lose from that is critical thinking, the ability to sort fact from fiction, just the ability to interpret the world around us, and that is something that's really scary. That we could have an entire class of college graduates leaving university without the facility to think, and that brings us back to the start of the conversation. This existential crisis, the actual literal value of your diploma might change, given so many students are depending on AI to get through college.
Mm. So it would be devalued.
Yes, that is something people are very nervous about. Yes.
Well, it's interesting because, you talk about in the piece about how OpenAI has not been shy about marketing to college students. So you write that recently, ChatGPT Plus, which is normally $20 a month, OpenAI made it free during finals. So these AI companies, they're playing into this in some way, are they not?
Oh yeah, and I think I know they are very much aware of what's happening. And you can look at the statistics in terms of visits to a site like ChatGPT that invariably, go down in the summer
Mm.
because school is out. That's how frequently students are using it, and it's the top visited site on many college campuses. Everybody is aware that students are using it and how they're using it. And AI has not been shy about partnering with universities across the country and sort of selling in many ways the idea of AI the way it sold coding, 10 years ago. This sense that we need to train the next generation of the U.S. labor force to work in AI because it's so critical to the economy and to defense and so those partnerships are really strong on university campuses, and it certainly has an influence on some administrators and how they think about AI on campus.
And so is there evidence that university honor codes matter? I mean, do students who have access or an understanding of their university's honor code change the way they use AI, or do we know?
The honor code is interesting. I actually did go and pull the number of violations happening at universities across the country
Mm.
on a case by case. Luckily, you could go to a certain university, and many of them would have the kind of end of year report. And there was such a spike of cheating cases during COVID that it's hard to understand where that ends and where AI begins. Uh, Before AI, COVID was really the golden age of cheating on university campuses. So it that in a way kind of I think prepared students or like at least raised their tolerance for cheating.
What do you see as the most urgent question for universities to grapple with moving forward and maybe for students to understand?
Where do we draw the line? At what point does AI infringe on an education? And That's a really big question. So I think that is what every professor needs to be asking. Why am I assigning this, and to what extent should a student be permitted to consult AI? Because it's not going away. It's kind of the same question, to be honest, that I had to ask myself. Anybody who went to college, I had to ask. College is very expensive. What am I paying for? Is it to have more free time on the weekends or at night? Is it, am I paying to learn how to hack and cut corners, or am I paying to, engage with the material that's in front of me? It's a really hard question to ask, especially when you're 18 and 19 and your brain hasn't fully formed.
Some really interesting questions and important answers that we've heard from you today. James Walsh, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.